Happy New Year, Gemini. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. I'm going to give you a synopsis of the year actually this month because I think it's important, being the new year, that you get an idea of where the key focal points are in the horoscope. There's a little trade secret I'm going to show you there, and that has to do with the eclipses and where they occur, and also the major transits of these karmic points, Saturn and Jupiter. Month by month, if you tune in, we're going to go through the sort of modulations and the finer detail. But I just wanted to give you an idea of where things are moving over the next 12 months. And the first thing is the lunar eclipse in the sign of Cancer here. So what we see here is a whole lot of focus on money straight off the bat as the year commences. And here you'll note from last year's December reading the very powerful conjunction in this 8th house of shared resources, and Mars continuing its movement through the 6th house of debts and liabilities. So money seems to be the key factor for you from what I can see there. June 6th, there's a powerful lunar eclipse here in the 7th house of relationships. So we're shifting around here. We're going to just see which of these eclipses is bringing in the most energy and what area of life is going to be the key factor. But as these eclipses take place, you will be drawn to bringing your attention to these areas. So the June 6th eclipse here is all about relationships. It's all about getting a better handle on how you connect with the person that you love or the person that you've chosen, or if you aren't yet connected, getting down deeper into what a lifelong or permanent relationship really means for you. June 21, a solar eclipse here. You see what I'm saying? It's coming back here again to this financial area. So I'm already getting a hint that 2020 is going to be a pretty significant year in terms of the way you deal with your finances. The other eclipse there on November 30 is in your sun sign here. So that's later in the year, but that shows us that your sense of identity, who you are, is going to radically shift towards the end of the year. And I think some of these other factors that we're talking about are going to be instrumental in doing that. It's not just like a flick of the switch, but I think your attitudes to money and the way you view finances is going to be primarily the thing that reshapes you. Look again there, we have a solar eclipse in the area of Sagittarius. So a couple of eclipses there relating to your relationships. And I wonder too if that's, for some of you anyhow, related to your business transactions, business partnerships, the people you actually transact with. So let's not limit this to too much of a narrow field, because I think if we're talking a lot about how money is going to be a focus for you, how redefining the way you earn money, what it is you do to earn money is going to be a key feature, then I think the people you deal with is going to be as much of an important component of that as the money and how you earn it as well. The other thing I didn't mention to you, Gemini, are the transits of Saturn. We see Saturn here transiting into your 9th house, which is the spiritual sector, on March 22nd, only to retrograde back out on July 4th, and then finally later in the year on December 17, transit back here. So it's almost as if your financial situation, the way you earn money, is very much tied up in this 9th house scenario, which is to do with ethics and legalities, laws, rules, regulations. And so I think you're trying to find meaning, not just the typical regulations and compliance issues that go with tax and, putting in your invoices and all that sort of stuff. This has to do with compliance to the laws of nature and the laws of karma. And speaking of karma, the transit of the North Node, or the Karmic planet here into the sign of Gemini, your sun sign, on May 5th is really, really important. And I think in some ways, there are some astrologers that believe we could remove all of the other planets here and simply focus on the North Node and the South Node to get a really clear picture of what's happening in your life year after year. It's approximately an 18-month transit, but when it makes its shift, Gemini, you can rest assured that it's going to be a pretty significant change. And again, we mentioned earlier that November 30 lunar eclipse that's going to take place here, that's going to be preceded earlier. So remember I said that some of these identity issues and who you are as a person, it's not going to be a flick of the switch. Well, I think this North Node transit around the early part of May is going to set the trend for this. And it's very, very important because you will find there's a desire building within yourself to become something that you've got in your mind. You must be aware, however, that the North and the South Node axis, as it moves, it creates often desires that can't be fulfilled. So you've got to keep those desires real. The South Node, by the way, moves simultaneously into this area of relationship. And I might say that Ketu is well known karmically for showing where in life you may need to lose something. Now here, as it's moving through the shared resources area, the area of intimacy, love, deeper psychological issues. But when it moves here, I think you're going to start to feel that for some of you, relationships that haven't been working for you may need to be let go of. And here, as the North Node moves into this area of your sun sign, depending on the date, because it's an 18-month transit, those of you born in the latter part of Gemini will feel the effects first. It's sort of a reverse influence as the North Node transits here. Now, what this means, I think, it has a similar colour to the South Node. It's quite different. This one shows where the desire is. So it's got a lot to do with your self-awareness and how you perceive yourself, what you project to the world around you. This sun sign is your willpower and your personality. So definitely you will be changing that. You will be examining yourself to shift the way you interact with others. That's that 7th house. And making the appropriate changes to affect those changes. Now, changes are hard, and especially when it comes to who we are as personas, as identities. So I think this is going to be probably the key factor for you throughout 2020. And there are some remedial measures that we can talk about as the year progresses. We'll talk about that in February, if you like, preceding that. And Rahu creates a bit of a shadow. So here, as it's transiting the finance sector, there could be some nebulousness about the way you're earning money, some confusion, some errors, some deception even. You don't want that to carry through into the area of your personality. You need to keep your personality clear. That may be what these issues of ethics are saying to you. Be real, be who you are, and that is going to carry you through in 2020. I'm going to be back, as I said. Till then, don't forget to stop in at astrology.com.au. Drop me a line if you want, if you've got any specific questions. And we've got the yearly forecast for you there right now. 3,000 words on what's happening to really back up what I've said here, which is obviously just a synopsis. Look forward to your company again in February. Bye-bye for now.